Okay, today is December 28th, so I'll do a little update. I got 3 more layers to put on this piece right here. This is going to be the part of the deadwood that goes on the shaft, and the shaft log goes on top of this. So I just got done power planing and sanding this to make sure this was totally square. Get a little bit of rounding in the center here, and I suppose that's from my clamps, mostly being on the edge, would be my guess, but I don't know. Anyway, I got that nice and level again. These here are the startup, and then back there on that roller table, some more pieces for this. This is going to be the forward knee, or the bow knee, or whatever you want to call it. The stern is, like this part of the keel at the stern is cut off, and that worked fairly well. Haven't cleaned it up at all yet. That's just the raw cut, and that worked all right. And then this is that transition piece that goes from the main backbone of the keel up to the stem. And I've got it mostly cut out and ready to go. I decided to leave this here a little rough, and because the stem then comes up and sits on here and goes up. Leave a little more wood to work with. The hand power plane, and I've got some wood grinding wheels for some cut-saw discs. They cut pretty fast, so I can shape that when I get to the point of attaching that stem on there. And then down here, I had to clean that up down there. I had some epoxy that dripped down on there, and when it was upside down, actually it dripped from the bottom down, and it made some big bumps off the bottom there. And so I bought some hand wood, not wood files, what do they call them? Anyway, for working with wood. And so I bought a couple sets of those, and that worked quite well for getting it, rasps. That worked quite well for getting in there and getting that cleaned up. And then here, you can see I had a little mishap here. When I started cutting this out, you can see the line there. When I started cutting this out, when you're cutting at angles, it's hard to get the saw lined up. You got the front of the saw lined up perfectly, but if the back of the saw isn't exactly where it needs to be, and that's what happened here. I started cutting in here, and I realized I wasn't on my mark. So I backed out, I recut it where it was supposed to be, but that left me with a cut in there. So what I did was I mixed up some thickened epoxy, put the thickened epoxy, you can see where the curve of the blade went down through here. Mixed up some thickened epoxy, and it's not that there's a whole lot of strength in this little bit on the end here anyway, but it's, with that thickened epoxy, it's just as strong as it would have been otherwise. Got a little bit of cleaning up to do here. I suppose I'll use my new rasps for that. And then I'm about ready to do a test fit. We'll get her up on the chain hoist there. And I think what I'll do is I'll keep it slightly forward of center here, so the back end's got a little bit of weight to it. And I'll just walk it down here and then try to slide it in there, and we'll see how things fit. Of course, I got plenty of clamps, but I also have got some straps here, some 1-inch straps, and that piece will fit under here. So I think I can put straps around here to help hold it in place, and we'll see how it fits. Now, we would really kind of like for the boat to be straight. We would rather not have the bow hook one way or the other. So I ran a cable up there, and I don't know if you can see that cable. It's a small cable. It starts right there. Here you can see it for sure. And it runs the length of the building. And I plumb bobbed it, and then marked the keel. There's marks on these frames here. that show where the keel should sit. And I did that all the way along there. Anyway, but the problem is I've got this hoist up here, and I couldn't put the plumb bob lines straight down over the center of the board like you'd like to, because I'd still like to use my chain hoist. So I moved it 4.5 inches that way, and you can probably see that, so that I'm lining up now this edge here with the plumb bob. So now all I have to do is remember that I'm going to be 4.5 inches over. You know, if I want to run the plumb bob down, it's going to be 4.5 inches that way. But that way at least I can still use my chain hoist, which is going to be essential for putting some of these pieces together. And now I've got a center line strung. And I use some cable or wire rope. And then I put a turnbuckle down at this end to keep it tight. Problem was I was going to try to just do string, but of course string is going to sag so much I didn't think that would be really very effective. So I went with some wire rope, a cable, and I think that'll work fine. Alright, so I'm going to do a little bit more cleaning up here on this piece, and then I'm going to try to do a dry fit, just a test fit, to see if it's going to work in there or not. See how it looks. So I will update you after I do that, and wish me luck.